Captain Dan here, Goober Time Guide Service. We really want to thank you for watching our trailer bunk video that we did a couple of videos ago. That thing was just flying with views, and while I was making that video, I was really happy with it. I know those bunks are going to last a long time. They've already been on the boat a couple months and they're doing just fine. However, I did have a couple ideas I could make this faster for you guys at home if you were thinking about doing this project for yourself, and potentially a little bit even better than what we had there. I did have a couple spots where the fiberglass resin was starting to chip off, so that does leave exposed wood. Again, water's not sitting on there. I'm not super worried about it. However, this new build is gonna be sweet, so you wanna check this one out here. Now, Goober Gang, I'm not saying you have to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and write a comment down below, but my sources tell me that if you don't, you're gonna lose your favorite fishing rod the next time you hit the water. So easiest thing you can do is hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and write hashtag Goober down in the comment section below. It's not worth the risk. Now, in this video today, we're gonna be redoing the bunk boards on our Jon Boat. You saw the video that we did in our guide boat, and those are holding up great. We're going to our Jon Boat today. We're gonna tweak things a little bit, make the process faster, easier, a little bit cleaner, and I'm gonna tell you, it turns out sharp, so you're gonna wanna watch this video all the way through. Now, we've been doing a lot of work to this Jon Boat, as you've seen on the channel. I've made videos on all the different upgrades we've done so far. I'll leave a playlist down in the description below, so make sure you check that out, and you'll also find all the links to the products in this video in case you want to do this build for yourself. Now it's time to stop chatting, let's get into this thing. So now we've got our boards cut down to 90 inches. The old boards were 85. We want to go a little bit longer, just get a little bit more of the front of the boat onto those bunk boards. Next, we have to take some 80 grit sandpaper and scuff these up. After that, we're gonna take a wet paper towel and wipe those down. Make sure everything's nice and smooth with no particles on it, because we need our next step to really stick. Now to get ready to paint on our coating, I've got these little painting pyramid stands. I'm gonna put 2 of them on either end so we can lift that up. We can paint around the edges and not worry about this sticking down to our drop cloth here. Now it's time for the magic. I've got this Rust-Oleum truck bed liner here. We're gonna pour some of that into some old Tupperware to use as my painting tray. And we've got a textured brush we're gonna roll that onto our boards with. If you watched our last video, we went a couple layers with the paint and the epoxy. This is just kind of be an all-in-one solution right here. We're not gonna have to worry about multiple steps. We are gonna put 2 coats of this on though. So let's start getting this onto our boards. So we've got the top and all 4 sides, all the edges coated. We're gonna flip this over, use those pyramid stands so it's not gonna be touching a whole lot of the bottom, just a couple points here and there. And since we're doing a couple coats, it's not really gonna matter anyway. So let's get these turned and get the other sides painted. And there we go, both sides are coated. I'm gonna give this some time to set up a little bit before I come back and do a second coat. So I'm gonna get these supplies into the refrigerator so they don't start firming up on me and I can hopefully use them again. As you can see, to cover those 2 2x4s at 90 inches, we've got about 1/3 of the can that we've used up. And this says it's gonna take about 2 to 4 hours to dry, or until it's dry to the touch, before we can do a second coat. So we've got some time to wait now. Here we are a couple hours later. Everything's nice and dry. We're ready for coat number 2. I think it's gonna be really nice for that second coat. It's gonna go on a little bit thicker, but I'm pretty happy with the coverage so far. Well, these are just about done. We've got the sides, ends, and that other side coated. Flipped them on over, just gotta do this side, and then it's time to let them dry. Close up, see if we can get some of that texture to pop, but we've got about 24 hours of dry time. I'm probably gonna let them go for a couple days before I come on up and finish these up. Remember, the boat's not gonna sit on these. We still got something coming, but compared to our last video, that was a heck of a lot easier process, and I think it's gonna protect those boards just as well. Again, it's not carpet. Can't stand carpet, anything related to a boat, inside or outside. It's not where carpet belongs. At this point in the project, everything's looking pretty nice. These have dried up overnight. Tiny bit tacky, but I'm fine with it. They're plenty fine to work with. Nothing's coming off on my fingers, so we're ready to move on to the next step. That next step, if you watched our last trailer bunk build videos, same thing as before. We really like these bunk slides. Really makes the boat slide on and off real easy. I got another package of those. I've got all this stuff linked down in the description for anything you might need to build this project here. And when you get into the box, you want to find the 2 that have the hooks on the end. Those are going to go on the edge of your boards, so they hook onto the edge, so when you're driving your boat on, you don't catch a lip and rip it off. You're going to glide right over that. So those go down on the end. I measured these bunk slides right here, and they're about 10 inches each. And with our boards being 90 inches a piece, I'm going to put 5 of these on, leaving us 10-inch spacing. So all I'm going to do now is take a tape measure and run all the way down my board and mark every 10 inches so I know where to start each of the bunk slides. So to finish up this build here, we're gonna need a driver, a drill, I'm gonna throw a 1/8 inch drill bit in there so I can drill some pilot holes for the stainless steel hardware that is included. And I'm gonna use a little bit of marine goop. We'll show you what that's for in a second here. One other thing I'm gonna do is set my drill bit to a depth that matches my screws so my pilot holes are just the right length. All right, time to get these bunk slides installed. I'm gonna start with the end piece, the one that looks like an L bracket. I'm gonna put that on, center it pretty nicely, drill out all 3 of my pilot holes. I'm gonna come through with my marine goop and put a dab on each of the pilot holes, just to help seal around them. I don't want any water getting into these holes. That's where it's gonna start to rot, if anything. I'm gonna put my board slides back on, fill each of those with a little bit of goop. And this is gonna serve 2 purposes up here. The main one is gonna be water sealing, but the benefit that these are gonna have as well is that they're gonna grab onto the screws, and as my boat rattles down the road, none of these screws are gonna be backing out from rattling. So you can see that thing's pretty much entirely coated. No water is going to come in from the top, and that screw is going to be a little bit firmer in there. Finish up this slide and then keep on moving down the board. As those screws go through that puddle of goop right there, it's going to pull it down into the hole, hopefully sealing it all the way through. All right, and then it's just a process of doing that about 9 more times to get these bunks sealed up. I'll show you when the final product's done here. And there we go, people. We got all those bunk slides on. It's looking real nice. All we got to do is let that all set up. Give it a day or so, head to the water and slap those puppies on. All right, so we're gonna dump this boat in the water and then we'll work on that trailer, get those bunk boards off. All right, so here we've got the new brackets side by side with the old. Our new bunk boards are going on. You can see right where the boat was laying on the back of here, so we got a couple inches towards the back where that could possibly knock my transducer off. So with the new install, I'm gonna scoot those bunk boards forward a little bit more, right towards the back of this bracket here. So I'm just gonna take one off at a time, swap it out. It's only a bolt under this side and a bolt under the front side. So that should be a pretty quick work here. Those old bolts are looking pretty nasty, so I brought new galvanized ones with me. We'll toss those on while we're at it. All right, so we got our new bolts. I'm gonna pick an appropriate size drill bit for a pilot hole there. You want something that's probably about half the diameter there, so that should work for us pretty well. Might actually step down one more. We'll probably go with a 1/8. And let the lag bolt do the rest of the work. I've got my drill bit depth pretty much the same length as this lag bolt here, so I won't be drilling too far into the wood. All right, so as you can see, we screwed that bunk board up quite a bit. Now it's time to lock it down in place. It's gonna be about 3 or 4 inches ahead of that one over there. Solid. Let's do the front up here now. All right, rock solid. This is a flat bottom boat, so we don't have to worry about pitching these in any direction. And this is really the biggest reason we're doing this. With this wet carpet here, this wood is always wet under here, and it's only a matter of time. Look, we even got spiders living in there. So it's just getting saturated with water. These are gonna rot really quick. Without carpet, the water can shed off really quick. You can see these are already wet. The water wipes right off of there. So these are gonna last a heck of a lot longer. Everything's sealed up. We're not gonna get water down those screw holes. Good to go. We'll repeat the same thing on the other side and show you what it looks like when we're done. And there she is in all her glory. 1 minute later, that other bunk board is on. She's looking sharp. We've got those blacked out bunk boards to match those blacked out wheels, and that trailer is looking good. Let's go see how the boat comes up on it. Effortless, and that's how easy it is. Hit it with a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.